Om Sarvadharmasthapakatvam Sarvadharmaswarupakaha Acharyanam Mahacharyo Ramakrishnaya Te Namah. O establisher of all the faiths, embodiment of all the religions, the greatest teacher among all the teachers, O Sri Ramakrishna, my salutations to you. Namaste, Pranam, and Sri Ramakrishna teaching us about the importance of spiritual practice after seeing the circus. Now, normally when we go for any of such entertaining shows, whether it is a circus, nowadays of course a circus thing as such is hardly to be noticed in the mega cities for that matter. Once in a while they might be touring. But earlier days circus was a major form of entertainment. So when we go for such shows of entertainment, whether it is a circus or a film or a drama, we just spend time to get that entertainment. We don't grasp much, but Sri Ramakrishna's case was different. Anything he looked at, whether it was a drama or a circus, he used to get the association with the spirituality. Anything that he saw, immediately he used to connect those acts, those scenes with the level at the spiritual level. And when in that circus, he saw that wonderful stunt of the English woman riding the horse, standing on one leg on his back, on the horse's back, and making that horse run at the lightning speed, passing through series of rings all around. Sri Ramakrishna said, what a great feat this lady has done, and how much she must have practiced. In a moment she could have fallen down, she could have got injured, she could have even got killed. But that practice enabled her to perform that tremendous task, that tremendous act. And then Sri Ramakrishna correlated that practice element with the practice in the spiritual disciplines. And Sri Ramakrishna says, like the act that that lady performed, the householder's life is exactly same like that. It is filled with dangers, it is filled with risks. But the grace of God and the practice, spiritual practice, can save such householders, can save such people who have to live in the world. Everybody cannot become a monk, everybody cannot renounce everything and go to Himalayas. Otherwise the society won't function at all. So what about the householders? Sri Ramakrishna says they should pray, they should cultivate the habit of spiritual practices. And harder and stricter the spiritual practices, they can easily balance themselves like that stunt woman balanced herself on the back of that horse standing on one leg, and the horse running at lightning speed. She could manage it. When she could manage it, Sri Ramakrishna says, just like that, the householders who also get engaged into spiritual practices, they can also balance themselves on this circus of the world, on the circus of the day-to-day activities. So that was the Sri Ramakrishna's take after seeing the circus. And then all the devotees, they came out, they got into the carriage, and then they came to a house of another exemplary devotee of Sri Ramakrishna, Sri Balaram Bose in Bagh Bazar. So they came to Balaram Bose's house, and Sri Ramakrishna, just to initiate the talk on some kind of interest for the householders. Now, most of the devotees there at Balaram Bose's house who had gathered, they were all householders. So in order to talk something at their level, of course, the spiritual content, but may not be of a very high spiritual plane. Not like, the 7 chakras that he had spoken the other day with the Brahmos. So Sri Ramakrishna started talking about general topics, the topics of which were more important from the social perspective. So he took up the topic of conversation turned to the caste system. Now, in our traditions, we have a very strong caste system. Unfortunately, it is birth-based. So a Brahmin son becomes Brahmin, a Kshatriya son becomes Kshatriya, a Vaishya son becomes Vaishya, Shudra son becomes Shudra, and all this kind of thing. And there are all, in the earlier times, all the four castes, they had duties assigned to them. Although there was some kind of intermixing of the duties. The Brahmin's duty was to teach and preach and worship. Kshatriya's duty was to protect, to fight for justice, to do justice. Vaishya's duty was to get to do the business activities in the society. And Shudra's task levels were to serve all the three and to serve self also. So these were kind of the traditional rules and regulations set in for these castes, four castes. So Sri Ramakrishna was basically not appreciative of these caste differences, which were traditionally being followed. That the higher caste used to look down upon the lower castes. So Sri Ramakrishna says now, the caste system can be removed by one means only. There is only one way to remove this differentiation of the social strategic levels, which are based on birth. And that is the love of God. Only through love of God we can eliminate this caste system, which is so ridiculous to follow in the existing spirit, which is so ridiculous to follow the way it was being followed. Lovers of God do not belong to any class. So Sri Ramakrishna once again brings out the spirituality angle to this pattern, this particular system of maintaining the caste differences. So Sri Ramakrishna says, lovers of God do not belong to any caste. They have no caste. A lover of God is a lover of God irrespective of whether he is a Brahmin or a Kshatriya or a Vaishya or a Shudra or a Mlecha. The mind, body and soul of a man become purified through divine love. And once you are purified internally and externally, the mind, body and the soul, all three, when they get purified through the practice of bhakti, through the love of God, then the person is above any of the caste systems. Chaitanya and Nityananda scattered the name of Hari to everyone, including the pariah, and embraced them all. The great incarnation Chaitanya Deva and his brother Nitai, they never followed the caste system. For them, even an untouchable, even a person of the lowliest caste for that matter, was their own the moment that person chanted the name of Hari. That's it. Chaitanya Deva elevated all these downtrodden, all these unfortunate souls for that matter. We are all born alike. We are all born with the divine qualities. Unfortunately, we end up into some caste system based on birth. But Chaitanya Deva said, no, you chant the name of Hari, and you and me, we are of the same caste. We are the lovers of God. Who says, I am Brahmin and you are Shudra? Who says, I am Brahmin, he is Vaishya? Who says, I am Brahmin, he is Kshatriya? We are all lovers of God. That is the single caste. Then, a Brahmin without this love is no longer a Brahmin. Sri Ramakrishna himself a Brahmin. But he said a Brahmin without love of God, we cannot call him Brahmin at all. What kind of Brahmin is he then? If he doesn't have love for God. And once he has love for God, then a Brahmin will never have the distinction between him and a person of any other caste. Once that love of God sprouts, once that love of God ignites, Once a person is consumed by the fire of love of God, then all castes are equal to that person. A Brahmin without his love is no longer a Brahmin. A pariah with love of God is no longer a pariah. He is a Brahmin then. Just cultivate that love for God. Through bhakti, an untouchable becomes pure and elevated. What lofty thoughts at that point of time. Such lofty teaching for that matter, that don't follow any of these caste system principles for that matter. Don't follow these distinctions between one caste and another caste. Just develop love for God and you are all at the same level. So that is Sri Ramakrishna's teaching today as far as the caste system is concerned. Love of God is one common factor which can get rid of the differences, get rid of the fights between all these different castes. Whichever God you start loving, have full dedication, full sincerity, and full devotion to that Lord, devotion to that deity. And then he has already told us that all deities are same. Whether we worship Krishna, whether we worship Kali, whether we worship Shiva, whether we worship Rama, whether we worship Buddha, whether we worship Jesus, all are basically same. It is the love that needs to be ignited in our heart. And once that love is ignited, there is no difference between me and you. There is no difference between the higher caste and the lower caste. There is no difference between one religion and another. Then all are playing at the same level. Because after attaining love for God, we get that realization that what lies in me lies in everyone else. Because then is the time when all of us, we start seeing God everywhere. What lies in me lies in all the people, not only people, in all the beings for that matter. So once that realization awakens, then what kind of difference can I perceive? What kind of difference I can maintain between me and any other person? So then there is no high caste, no low caste. There is no distinction between one religion and another. Only one common factor unites all this diversity, and that is the love of God. And therefore Sri Ramakrishna again says, through bhakti, an untouchable becomes pure and elevated. Through bhakti, all become pure and elevated. They all come at the same plane. Om Namah Shri Bhagavate Ramakrishnaya. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Jai Thakur, Jai Ma, Jai Swamiji.